What's up, YouTube? It's Melting Metal Anthony. I got a cool little shop job for you guys today, but it's kind of complicated. We're going to be Tig Welding Aluminum. I don't do much of this, but I'm very proficient in aluminum. It's one of my favorite things to do. Maybe because I have ADHD and you can just slam that rod in there, you know, and you don't got to wait for nothing really, except for it to puddle. But today I have to replace this nipple on this plate that's used for a cleaning company, a carpet cleaning company. Now, what's interesting about this job, and the reason I'm showcasing it to you, because I usually don't do my little shop jobs on video, is the electrolysis that's happened to the back of this plate here. We don't have any on the front, luckily, and the customer even ground in just to kind of see what we had going on, but luckily he seems like he's a pretty smart guy. He didn't dig too deep on me, so I'm stoked for that. What I'm gonna do today, because I'm gonna have to get some of this electrolysis off around this area, is I'm gonna showcase how I do that. But today I'm gonna try to be more detailed on settings and definitely give you some up-close shots of me cleaning and prepping this material, because that is the most difficult part of this job by a mile. I gave the guy a fair price on it. He knew it was a fair price. He's gonna be back in a few hours to collect his item. As you can see, the electrolysis in this thing is really bad. And then we have some sort of, I'm assuming this is salt on the back of this. He was saying he thought it was due to hard water, and I explained to him, no, that hard water will not do this to aluminum. This is from salt water or some sort of caustic environment that this thing had been setting in. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna have to clean some of this up in here. We're also gonna have to clean some of it up in here. So how I'm gonna attack this is I'm gonna cut this thing flush with the grinder, just keep it nice and simple, and then we're gonna put this thing right where this thing was and weld it down. But we still need to clean in here and back here. I went and got my face shield. I went and got my respirator, because whenever you're dealing with aluminum, stainless, or really anything that's gonna be kicking up that much dust, you wanna protect yourself. And I went and I got a brand new cutoff wheel. I don't believe in those dedicated aluminum wheels. I don't think that they cut or do anything less for impregnating stuff into the metal. So I just use a regular old cutoff wheel, the same thing you'd use on steel or stainless. As long as it's brand new and it hasn't been used on anything else, it's perfectly fine to use for this type of application. All right, so the good news about what I just did there was it looks like that's exactly how this originally was put on. It was just welded to the surface. I was thinking about drilling this thing around this thing, trying to just get like an annular bit and go around it, but we picked the right way to do this apparently. And again, when it comes to this, they do sell specialty flap discs, but I don't believe in them. You can just go ahead and use a regular flap disc, a zirconia, just like you would on stainless or mild steel, and this should just work fine. I've never had any issues. For a situation like this, it really would be nice to be able to sandblast this thing, and I do have a little sandblaster, so I think we're gonna give that a shot. I've never done it before, but let's try it. So I'm using a broken glass medium, and that's not because of any certain reason. It's just because of what I had in the cabinet. And honestly, it seems to work out really well. There's a link in the description below for a similar little handheld sandblaster and the medium. So that worked out really well. I figured the sandblasting was a good idea to try because, you know, there's no way I can really get down in those little grooves and bits with a wire wheel or a wire brush. And then even in here, I was able to knock most of the calcium, or I believe it's salt, out of the holes that are inside the hole. Now I'm going to take my die grinder and I'm just going to run it in here, just give it a light once over, and then we're going to go ahead and acetone it up. But you can see how well that shined that up when you use that sandblaster. And basically I was just using a glass blast medium The sandblaster is like 30 bucks. It's just a little handheld deal. It's a nice little tool to keep in your shop. I use it mostly for motorcycle parts, just to clean them up real quick. Like if I have some aluminum and I'm not really trying to have a brushed look to it, and I just want to clean it up real quick, takes 2 seconds. I know my shovel head that's sitting back there, some of you guys have seen, I basically sandblasted the whole motor and I got all the grease and bullshit off of it, and it looks like new. That's just a little technique that I've learned over the years, especially when you have an uneven surface that you're dealing with. I didn't really go too crazy on the rest of it, but I just kind of wanted to demonstrate on camera how well that works to knock stuff that you have in pits maybe out of the pits. So let's go ahead, get the die grinder hooked up, give that just a quick weir, get some acetone on it, and then we're gonna weld our bung on. So what I'm gonna do is just clamp this to the end of my table. I'm not gonna get too crazy with the clamps. I'm right-handed, so I'm putting the clamp on the left side because my torch hand's not gonna be on the left side. This is probably gonna get in my way a little bit, and so is this. Ideally, I would take this all apart, but I really do not wanna risk breaking anything here and then having to replace it for this guy. Just give her a little rub down. There you go, that's beautiful. Don't need to go get too crazy with it, but that's gonna work fine for what we're doing here. So I'm taking a calculated risk, and I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it like that. So what I'll do here, I might even throw a clamp on that, and I think I will actually. Okay. And I'm not gonna go crazy, just give it a little tension so it don't move while I'm welding it. These all my extra tools out the way, I ain't using them anymore. Make sure to clear your workspace when you're moving between processes. I see a lot of guys that just leave their shit all sprawled out. You know what? You're just asking for problems, honestly. You end up tripping over something or falling down. It's not gonna be a good day. So clear your space out and get ready to weld. That way nothing's in your way to do it. All right, guys, so as far as the TIG torch setup, I'm using a 125 tungsten. I'm using a number 7 cup, just an old traditional style cup. Sometimes I use the see-through ones if I'm doing something funky where I can't really see my puddle. I've got the tungsten ground to a slight point. I'm probably gonna take it over to the grinder and do a little more work on it because it's not exactly what I'm looking to do. Oh, it's a red tungsten, so I actually have to swap it out for purple. So we're an inverter machine here. Well, I'm glad I looked. So we've got some purple tungsten here. I'm gonna put a little bit more of a grind on that. It actually looks pretty decent, but we're gonna go ahead and grind the tungsten and then get to work. So we've got an 1/8 inch tungsten or 125. We have our 1/8 inch 4043 filler rod. I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple of tacks, see how it looks, and if everything looks a-okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and try to get a filter on the screen there so you guys can see the actual welding process. Yep, seems to be pretty straight up and down.
So the settings are as follows. I used 180 amps. I was at 120 hertz. I had the AC balance at 20%. The pre-flow was at 1.5 seconds, and my post-flow was about 5 seconds. In hindsight, I think the post-flow could have been a little longer, but otherwise, all the settings seemed to work out perfect. We could have ran this a little hotter, but I didn't want to risk blowing through that nipple.
Well, all right, guys, that's it. That's the whole video. I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this adds another tool to your arsenal, so when you go out there and you're trying to make a buck, now you know how to deal with something like this. My name's Melton Metal Anthony. If you like what you saw here today, like, subscribe, share, do the whole 9 for your boy, all right? And like I said, if you want to buy a nice little setup, a nice little TIG setup, the link will be in the description below, as well as the link for all this crap. The gloves, the jacket, if you want to walk around being my doppelganger, I can make that happen. But anyway, you guys have a great day. Keep doing what you do. Keep dragging rod, keep pushing me, and I will catch you on the next video.